The largest evangelical denomination in the United States on Monday announced its initial recommendations for addressing revelations of widespread sexual abuse in Southern Baptist churches across the country. "There is a problem," said the president of the Southern Baptist Convention, J.D. Greer, according to his prepared remarks to the executive leadership of the denomination. "It's time we back up our words with actions that demonstrate our concern about this. Nearly 400 Southern Baptist leaders have been accused of sexual misconduct or crimes against more than 700 victims since 1998, according to an investigation by the Houston Chronicle and the San Antonio Express-News published this month. Offenders included pastors, youth pastors and volunteers. Greer called for a range of actions, including potential background checks before ordination, a task force to develop curriculum to train ministers about sexual abuse, and a possible database of offenders. A study group on sexual abuse, which was created last year, offered the proposals. Sign up for the Morning Briefing newsletter. Greer also announced an agreement by the 6 Southern Baptist seminaries on how to approach sexual abuse, including making training on abuse prevention mandatory. The Southern Baptist State Conventions, or the associations organized by region, will train their staff on abuse prevention and promote training on abuse prevention among their churches. The speech is the first time Southern Baptist churches are hearing in depth from their highest leadership about how the denomination plans to address the abuse crisis. The revelations have rocked the tens of thousands of churches in the Southern Baptist Convention. Addressing sexual abuse will also be a primary theme of the annual convention of thousands of Southern Baptist pastors in Birmingham, Alabama, this year, Mr. Greer said. He also called out 10 churches, by name, that are embroiled in prominent allegations related to abuse. Greer recommended that the Southern Baptist Convention's governing documents be amended to make clear that churches with a wanton disregard for sexual abuse and for caring for the survivors are not in good fellowship with this convention. In addition, he raised the possibility that churches could be expelled from the Southern Baptist Convention for their actions and handling of the cases. Church leaders have used this removal, called disfellowshipping, in extreme cases in the past, such as when a church in Georgia had been deemed too racist to align with Southern Baptist teaching. Advisors from the study group on sexual abuse will develop a 12-lesson curriculum to train pastors on the topic. These advisors will include Rachel Denhollander, a survivor, Diane Langberg, a psychologist and abuse specialist, and Andrea Munford, a detective in the case against Larry Nassar, the sports doctor convicted of sexual abuse. In an unusual move, Mr. Greer also thanked the news media for shining a light on the magnitude of this horrific sin, and reminded his fellow pastors that journalists are not our enemy. We need to regard any exposure, any shining of light on abuse, as our friend, even if it makes us ask some uncomfortable questions about ourselves, he said. The safety of victims is more important than the reputation of Southern Baptists. He also called on Southern Baptists to repent for a culture that has made abuse, cover-ups and evading accountability far too easy, and for thinking that clergy sexual abuse is a Catholic problem or a corrupt Hollywood problem. Russell Moore, who leads the public policy arm of the Southern Baptist Convention, said in a statement that he was encouraged by the recommendations. He called Mr. Greer's proposal a needed advance, and urged it to be universally adopted across the spectrum of Southern Baptist life.